Howdy, hi. It is Deer Job Sports College Basketball Picks and Predictions for Saturday, November 15th, 2025. We are looking at the best bets of the day. Let's get into the video. All right, first things first, got to recap a bad day from yours truly. We go 2-4 on the day, bringing our season record to 49 wins and 32 losses. We add $3 per loss, so that is $12 on the day. $102 in the giveaway fund. We add one person to the ban list. Welcome Kosi Akamitu, who is the small forward for Iona. I will shortly discuss why he has joined the likes of Queens, South Carolina State, Jamie Dixon, and the entirety of the Ivy League on the ban list. All right, let me recap these and we'll get on to the 7 games we have for tomorrow. First game, I really should have made IU Indy my best bet of the day. I knew they were going to win on the money line. Eastern Michigan is fraudulent, but instead I decided to go Iona. Now I know IU Indy, always. We had them plus 7.5. I took them on the money line. The game was really never a doubt. They led probably 38 minutes of it. It got close towards the end, but they were up 11 at halftime. Final score, IU Indy 90, Eastern Michigan 83. IU Indy shot 55% from the field, 48% from deep. They honestly didn't play that well in terms of turning the ball over. They had 18 turnovers compared to Eastern Michigan, who had 13. EMU just can't shoot. 41% from the field, 28% from deep. They dominated the offensive rebounds, 17-8. I mean, they took 11 more shot attempts and 8 more free throws than IU Indy, and they still lost by 7. Eastern Michigan cannot put ball in hoop. Next game, we had Iowa minus 14.5 at home against Xavier. Xavier is the worst team. Actually, okay, pause. It's either Xavier or Seton Hall in terms of worst teams in the Big East. I was actually pretty impressed with how DePaul played today. So it's easily Xavier or Seton Hall. Iowa beat Xavier 81-62. Xavier 39% from the field, 24% from deep. Iowa 57% from the field, only 27% from deep, going 3 of 11. Then 74% from the free throw line. I mean, Bennett Sturts goes for 21, 8, and 3. Iowa's going to be good. They do struggle a little bit with size down low. Once they start playing Big Ten teams with really big front courts, not sure how they're going to fare, but they did good here as they win by 19. All right, now we talk about the losers. We kind of already mentioned why the Eastern Michigan why the Eastern Michigan IU Indy game did not go over. With the over 185.5, this one landed at 173. Just too many turnovers in the game, and then Eastern Michigan was just unable to actually put the ball in the hoop, going 41% from the field, 28% from deep. In total, there were 31 turnovers, so that's not very conducive to hitting over 185.5. Next game, this is why we have the guy on the ban list. Hello, Kosi Akatume. You are banned forever. Iona, we took a minus 5.5. This was my favorite play of the day. They win the game by 5. Do I really think they deserved the cover? No, they did not deserve a cover. They got dominated in this basketball game. They lose the rebound battle by 17. Offensive rebounds for Fordham, 16. Offensive rebounds for Iona, 4. But they find themselves up 5, 10 seconds left. Kosi Akatume gets fouled. He goes to the free throw line in the double bonus. He gets 2 free throws. I only need this dude to make one of them. That is all I need. Make one free throw. He shoots the first, barely even hits the rim. He is short by a mile. I'm like, okay, that's not great, but I only need one. Just make this second one. He shoots the second free throw, exact same goddamn thing. How are you short on back-to-back free throws? Just shoot it harder the second time. So, Kosi, I hope you're comfortable next to Jamie Dixon. I will get you a companion to your right here shortly, and that will be our ban list completely full. It didn't take long. We are already here. Next game, Arkansas minus 26.5. They almost lost this game outright. They were not focused on playing basketball today. Final score, Samford 75, Arkansas 79. Arkansas ties the offensive rebound battle 9-9. They lose the turnover battle at home to Samford. They shoot 45% from the field, 35% from deep. What are we doing messing around here? You just hung around and nearly beat Michigan State on the road. You're now back at home, almost catching an L to Samford? Calipari, what are we doing? That was a horrible basketball game. Absolutely disgusting. And then finally, I took Northwestern minus 6.5. They win on the road at DePaul. Final score, this one just ended, 81-79. Northwestern hits free throws because they can actually put ball in hoop, unlike Kosi Akatume. They hit 2 free throws to win the game. Looking at the stats, they also got dominated on the rebounding part. 15 offensive rebounds for DePaul, only 6 for Northwestern. They also lose the turnover battle. I mean, they shot 58% from the field compared to DePaul's 41. They just didn't have the possessions they needed to cover the 6.5 because they couldn't rebound. So that is how I go 2-4. Hopefully tomorrow I don't do that. Let's get on to the picks. All right, so we got 7 bets I'm looking at tomorrow. I'm going to go through these a bit quicker just because it's going to be a semi-longer video, and I still got to put up the NBA one. So, first game, I'm going to take Georgetown plus 115 on the money line at home against Clemson. This is a true home game for Georgetown. This could be absolutely massive when it comes to tournament selection time, come March Madness. I got both of these teams as bubble teams. The ACC looks really good. Clemson's not going to be able to get their free wins against the bottom half this year. They're going to have to compete and genuinely earn their spot. And then Georgetown's probably going to be the 4th or 5th best team in the Big East. But with how bad the bottom of the Big East looks, they're going to have a really good non-conference or they are not going to get in. Clemson, 3-0. They got wins against New Hampshire by 50, G-Dub by 38, then Morehead State by 27. This is their first road game of the year. Team looks much different than last year's roster. They returned just 1 starter in Dylan Hunter. They brought in a bunch of veteran guys, so Brownell knows what he's doing. Their bench is young. They're going to try to build from the bench this season, get them some experience when they can. But for the most part, it is a old veteran group of transfers. Georgetown also 3-0. They beat Morgan State at home by 17, Maryland on the road by 10, and then Binghamton by 13. So they do have the better resume. They return 2 starters from last year's team. They hit the portal. They bring in KJ Lewis Jr. from Arizona, and then Isaiah Abraham from UConn. He was a pretty highly touted freshman. Never saw the court at UConn. He said, "See ya, Dan Hurley. I don't like you because you don't play me. I'm going to transfer." And then he did, and now he's at Georgetown. I like Georgetown's team. They got a deep bench. They're a big team. Give me them plus 115 on the money line. All right, next game. This is by far the dumbest basketball game of the entire year. Cleveland State and Kent State are both located in Northeast Ohio. They are separated by 30 to 45 minutes at most. This game is being played at White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Why are we doing this? I understand the Greenbrier Classic is a great tournament held in the Colonial Hall. Can you please get 2 schools who are not located 30 minutes from each other to play this goddamn basketball game? You could jog from Cleveland State to Kent State faster than it took you to drive all the way to Greenbrier. Make that make sense. Cleveland State 1-2 on the year. They got losses to Loyola Chicago by 3, which looks horrible. Then they beat they lost Northwestern by 47. Their only win was against a D2 school by 1 point. A Division II school they beat by 1. That is not good. They are a completely new team under a completely new coaching staff as all of their team transferred to North Texas. They are severely undersized, and they start 2 underclassmen with 0 D1 playing time experience. That sucks. Kent State's 2-1. They have wins over Cornell and UNC Wilmington. That's a decent Ivy League program and a really good mid-major. Their one loss was their first game of the year, overtime game, 103-97 against Troy. Head coach Rob Senderoff, one of the best in the mid-major levels for a damn long time. I'm surprised he hasn't taken another job somewhere else. They returned 3 starters from last year's team. They're deep off the bench. They're big in the front court. This team should beat the brakes off of Cleveland State. Next game we got, it is William & Mary on the road at St. John's. I'm going to rock the over, 176.5. St. John's has not played a basketball game in almost a week. This is a true home game. This is not at the Garden or any of that nonsense. This is at their home stadium, so it's going to be packed. Kids should be excited to come see their team play. Neither of these teams really like to play defense. William & Mary loves to shoot the 3-ball. I don't see how this goes under, so I'll take the over, 176.5. If you are interested in the spread, it is currently sitting minus 29.5 for St. John's. William & Mary, 2-1 on the year. They beat a D2 school 110-63. Then a road win at Norfolk State, 81-78. That is very impressive. Then they lost to Richmond, 90-86 on the road. That is still a very good loss. This team, they love the 3-ball. In their 2 Division I games, so not including the D2 school, they shot 64 3-pointers. That is 32 threes a game. And when they're not getting the shots up from deep, they are hammering the hole. They got to the free throw line, average of 31 times a game. So you're getting up 32 threes in an average of 31 free throws per contest. That's going to result in a lot of points. St. John's has been in foul trouble both of their games this season, once against Quinnipiac and then the second time majorly against Alabama. That is something they need to fix. St. John's 1-1. They beat Quinnipiac 108-74. They then lost to Bama 103-96. So this over 176.5 has hit in both of their first 2 games. Their offense is very good. Their defense is still not good. I could see this easily being like St. John's 104, William & Mary 79. All right, next game. Mac versus the A10. We're going to take Davidson again. Give me them minus 4.5 against Bowling Green. This is Bowling Green's first road game of the season, and they are missing a lot of production from their previous year's team. Davidson, they've showed a lot this year. They've already beaten Charlotte on the road, and then they won a home game against Washington State by 16 points, which is quite impressive. Bowling Green is also 3-0. They beat Texas State by 35, a Division II school by a billion, and then Lemoyne Dolphins by 23. So this is by far their hardest game of the year in terms of 1, competition, 2, the fact it's their first road game. This is year 3, their head coach Todd Simons, which would normally be good, but he lost multiple of their best players last year. Their really big power forward Marcus Johnson transferred to, was that TCU? No, K-State. I think it was K-State he went to. Some school in the Big 12 that's purple. Who knows? They do return 2 starters, but it's not the guys you want. They bring in some portal guys, one from Florida State who really never played there. Then they went JUCO for their center, like 6'11", 230 pounds, senior. Pretty big guy, but he's been JUCO for 3 years. At that size, there's a reason he hasn't been brought up to D1, and that's because he's not good enough. So I'm going to need to see it with them on the road before I actually take them. Davidson, 3-0. Their wins. Wazoo, Charlotte on the road. They shoot 51% from the field, 43% from deep. Bowling Green solid, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep up scoring. Give me Davidson winning this game, 92-75. All right, next game, Big East versus the ACC. I think the wrong team is favored. Yes, SMU is at home. Butler has the better roster, and they have the better coach. I think Butler on the money line is alive. Butler 3-0 this year, 30-point win over Southern Indiana, 42-point win over IU Indy, 32-point win over Chicago State. So they've played 3 games against 3 lesser opponents and won all of them by a minimum of 30. This team is very good. You have Thad Matta at the helm. If they do not have a good year under Thad, and that good year probably means making the tournament, then this dude's about to get canned. Yeah, I think he realized that in the offseason and said, okay, I'm going to bring in a bunch of senior transfers and try to save my job. You have one from Gonzaga. You have one from Maryland. They return 2 guys, and they bring in some really good mid-major guys. I think they're live to win this. SMU is also 3-0, but against similar level opponents, they have not done what Butler has done. They beat Tarleton by 20, Texas A&M Corpus Christi by 11, and then Murray State by 11. That's actually a solid win. So I have questions about them being able to score, as they only scored 69 points against Corpus Christi. This is by far the best defensive team they've played. I think we see a tight game. Butler is currently sitting plus 240 on the money line if you are bold enough. Next one, Temple minus 3.5 against Boston College. This line, semi-scary, but I'm not going to question it. I will simply lay the number. Boston College is awful. Now, it might be semi-weird that if you've watched basketball for a while, Temple has been involved in multiple cheating allegations, point shaving, and all this other nonsense. But lay it here. The feds have done a lot of investigating. There's no more nonsense with Temple basketball. Boston College 1-2 on the year. 5-point road loss to FAU. That's not awful. A 29-point home win to the Citadel. Good job. But then you have a 1-point home loss to Central Connecticut. Boston College has been at the bottom of the ACC totem pole for a while. It is not going to change. They're under head coach Earl Grant. He's been there for way too many seasons. They simply have to fire this dude, but they won't because they're not going to pay his buyout. They returned 2 starters from last year's team. Normally, that would be a positive thing. It is not a positive thing here because their team sucks. Temple is 2-0. They beat Delaware State by 18. Then they beat LaSalle by 27. They are a team full of transfers, but it's a bunch of high major transfers. You have a Nebraska transfer, a Cal transfer, and then you have mid-majors from Bowling Green and Ark State, who are both massive role players in their teams. They're a big team. They shoot 52% from the floor, 44% from deep. I think they are live to win this game by 10 plus. So I will take Temple minus 3.5. All right, now we got our final game and our almost bets. I'm going to take Youngstown State on the spread. There's currently not a line out for this game, so I don't know what it is. I'd imagine it's going to be 5.5 or 6.5, maybe a little lower. Youngstown State, they're good this year. The Bonnies, they've been messing around with covering games, not covering games. I remember the last one, we took Siena at the Bonnies, and the Bonnies covered by the hook. Youngstown State's a better team than Siena. I think down the stretch, they'll be able to make the plays, get it done, maybe win the game on the money line, but I feel pretty good about a cover. The Penguins, 2-1 on the year. They have a 15-point road loss to Pitt, a 9-point road win to Grand Canyon, and then a 62-point home win against a Division II school. Interesting build for Youngstown State. They bring in 4 transfers to the starting lineup. It looks like it's working. I mean, if you drop 90 points on the road to Grand Canyon, that is clearly something that's going well. They are a tad bit undersized down low. That was their main problem against Pitt. But the Bonnies don't really have a big front court, so that might not be that bad. St. Bonaventure, 3-0. 6-point win at home over Bradley. 19-point win over Canisius. And the 9-point win over Siena. Like I said, they've been hovering around the number for this cover with every single game they've played. Youngstown State, probably their best opponent. So I will take Youngstown State, get it done at the end, and hammer them on the spread. All right, now for my almost bets. Almost took Marshall plus 20.5 at Virginia. Marshall's solid this year. New team, second-year head coach. I think they're starting to figure it out. Next one's Ohio plus 31.5 at Louisville. I don't even think I have to speak about this one. Louisville is my least favorite team to bet. Ohio might be my favorite team to bet. So clearly when they play, I will be putting money on this. I'm just simply not picking it for the video because Louisville tanks my season record. And then finally, St. Thomas at SEMO. I was shocked St. Thomas was laying points. So I'm going to dive all the way into this one. It stinks. I don't care. Give me the Tommies minus 2.5. All right, that's going to do it for me in this video. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. Hopefully, we do better than we did today, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.